Okay, hey guys, and welcome back to the Gulf Coast Growth Show. I'm your host, Jason Lee, joined with my co-host, Zeke Smith.
What's up, Jason?
Yeah, and I'm the guy that forgot to wear my Valentine colors today, so I'm a little disappointed in myself. And we are joined by Miss Lynda Villanueva from Lee College, the president of Lee College. Thank you for joining us today. Glad to have you.
Sure.
So, fun story. I ran into Lynda at a college night for our children, and if you remember that.
That's right,
Right.
because our children go to the same high school.
Same high school. So,
Your child is doing better than mine, but
yeah, yeah, probably. But I don't want to brag. Yeah, so, just better than the doctor at the school. No, just kidding. But either way, excited to have you on. I know we chatted a while back, and so excited to hear Lee. This is our first time having you on the show, which is, and you guys are so influential, just being right in our neck of the woods, and the impact that you guys are having in the community. So really excited to have you on. We're going to share a little bit today about Lynda's journey, as well as hear about the college, some of the work that they're doing, just a better understanding of your footprint and the things that you guys have been up to. So why don't you kick us off a little bit about your background, where you came from, and how you got where you're at today?
okay, be glad to do that. My journey starts with my parents, and so my mother is Korean, and she grew up in Korea. And she grew up in pretty abject poverty, and they had a successful restaurant at one time. It burned down completely, and she was only able to complete 7th grade. And so today, she still doesn't speak or write fluently in English. So my father, on the other hand, he is Mexican-American, grew up in the Rio Grande Valley, Brownsville area. And things were very tough for him. He grew up picking cotton in the fields and basically wanted out as soon as possible. So he took the very first bus out of Brownsville, and it was one that said U.S. Army. So, yes, so he left looking for a better life, joined the Army, and was stationed in Korea, and met and fell in love with my mother. And they came back to the United States and very quickly had me, and 3 years later had my brother Keith. Like a lot of families, they fell out of love, and they were divorced by the time I was 8 and my brother was 5. And that was a very difficult time because my mother ended up marrying an alcoholic stepfather who eventually sexually abused me for years. So this is, by the way, not a happy story of my background, but it's part of who I am.
Right.
And I am a very transparent person, and I use my story to help elevate the voices of my students.
Love it.
So that was a very difficult time. And, I found myself in situations where I never felt more safe than when my mom would leave her abuser at times. And, we lived very poor, single wide, trailers at times. And my mom could only find herself working in jobs that did not provide a family sustaining wage. And we went to bed hungry often, but at least I felt safe. I have also struggled with mental health over time, and it wasn't something that I spoke about when I talked to my college and others, but it was COVID that really, when I saw all of the struggles and the pain where, I found myself talking to my college and others so that I could elevate the importance of addressing that and destigmatizing that. So but there were some very special mentors that I had. One in elementary school, I wasn't at the level of reading that you needed to be. And there were teachers who would take me out of the classroom. I don't remember their names, but I consider them leaders because they would focus on simply trying to ensure that I could read. And that opened a whole entire door and window into things that I never knew existed, places that I never had been. And it was truly enlightening. In junior high, I had a wonderful mentor in a band teacher and a algebra teacher who just spent time with me outside of the classroom believed in me and wanted to see me do more than I ever could dream of, because I didn't see that in myself. So I'm still in touch with that band instructor, by the way, and he is now encouraging me to play my bass clarinet after 30 years with my own students. And why wouldn't I? Because I'm not afraid to roll up my sleeves and show our students that I will do the same. But it's not going to sound pretty for a while, and we'll get there. When I finally decided that I wanted to become a president, because I didn't know that I wanted to, but other people saw that in me. And it was hard because I just didn't see that in myself. And what happened was I never saw the role for the title or anything else. What happened is I moved in different positions and was never satisfied with the ability to impact change at the level that I was in, and I needed a bigger platform with which to share my the voices of my students and to impact large-scale change. But to round out that story, I was part of what is called the Aspen Institute's fellowship program for rising individuals who want to become a president within 3 to 5 years. And I was in the inaugural class, and I tell you that I really felt like, no, I just can't do this. And there were two things that contributed to that. One was that I didn't see people that looked like me. In fact, I'm the only Korean Mexican president in the entire country, and there are very few presidents who are Mexican American or Korean American. But the second was that I didn't hear from other presidents who talked about the same kinds of lived experiences that I had. And I was grateful for one of my mentors in that program who said, Lynda, this is your superpower. Sharing these stories, helping your students see that they can do anything when they listen to your story. And they have rich, beautiful stories with which they need to share. And I want them to know that through my story, they can do anything.
Love that.
Yeah, great. Speaking,
Yeah, it's like, I'm like, so tell us about the college. I mean,
Yeah, now you want me to tell you about the college after that.
that was like, you just came out swinging.
so I mean, that's the thing. Like, so you chose the role, but why the college? And tell us what's special about the college.
So there were several things that are special about the college, and let me describe the college first a bit, and then I can go into what I found was most special.
Please.
I think of the college as really 3 different colleges. We have a main campus that is in Baytown. It's about 4,500 students at the main campus. There's a full spectrum of workforce and transfer programs at that main campus. But we also, at that campus, have what are some of the best student support services in the United States. We have a Student Resource and Advocacy Center, which is exclusively focused on addressing the unmet basic needs of our students. We have the most amazing advisors and a transfer team that is just amazing. And so we are very focused on those areas that need the most attention, and we are known for those types of programs, especially our Student Resource and Advocacy Center, which, by the way, boasts the largest food pantry in the state of Texas, the footprint in community colleges, if not the nation. So, and that was from a gift from Mackenzie Scott, who you may know was the ex-wife or is the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos. And it was a completely unrestricted gift. And we really felt that money was a community, and we just simply were the stewards of that money. And we know our students, and we allocated it to ensure that our students did not have the barriers that would be in place to help them achieve. The second college that I would describe is our dual credit program, and that has about 3,000 students in it. It's a national model that has been published in various publications, and we are known as a model for our dual credit program. And like a lot of other colleges, it's growing. It's really growing, but we're really proud of what we're able to produce with those students. Most of them go on to complete at least 15 credit hours, if not their 42, what we call core curriculum which is protected by the state of Texas to transfer to any university.
Right.
And if not, also completing their associates. So really proud of them. And then finally, this is one of the reasons why I was most attracted to Lee College, and that is at our Huntsville Center, we have a prison education program.
Wow.
That has been in the business of saving and giving people second chances since 1966. So we're almost 60 years old in that program. It's the largest in Texas, and it's the second largest in the nation. We have, it is truly one of the most inspirational programs you will ever see, and I would love to host you guys there. We have 1,500 students in our program in every year. That's about the average. It is truly one of the reasons why I was attracted. When I heard about that, I just thought, my heart was like, I've got to be there. While most colleges measure the success of those kinds of programs by looking just at recidivism, we look at something, and we're involved in we lead a national research team, and we look at something called desistance, because we want different measures to examine the success. And for us, that means a person's tendency who enters the free world to engage in pro-social behaviors. So it's not just a measure of, did we return to prison or not? So we look at things like whether or not someone who re-enters the free world is able to find a home, is able to reconnect with their family, is able to pay child support, is able to find a job, and just really give back. And we have an amazing reentry program that is very special and unique to our college, where they are given the tools to help them re-enter the free world.
And truly contribute, not just exist, right?
Absolutely. And so we boast, though, one of the smallest recidivism rates, and we're very, very proud of that. And so we are turning individuals who are in those programs into taxpayers versus tax recipients,
right.
which is leading to a vibrant community.
So I want to drill down on that one for a second. So you said in Huntsville. So is it exclusive to that particular prison, or is it that y'all are you're in that prison, but it's also virtual that allots for other prisoners? Or
We are completely face-to-face. We've done the research, and you know that the single most important factor in a successful prison education program is a quality faculty member. They are literally in the prison, in the unit, in front of their students.
There's 5 or 6 units in Huntsville. All
well, yeah,
Oh,
right.
we're in all the units, and we're also in the WIN unit, which is in Dayton, and that's all females. So very, very proud of that particular program. And in Texas, we're the largest because, and this is kind of a sad state in my opinion, there are 130,000 people who are incarcerated, yet only 3,000 are in prison education program. So you talk about a way to completely change, the quality of lives for students, and this is a way. We provide education for 60% of those students who are in prison education programs, so we have the lion's share.
I mean,
But we want it for everyone.
right. We have a workforce shortage. It's like there's another, a huge pool of potential candidates. On a lighter note, if this podcast was live in Huntsville at the Lee College Huntsville, it'd probably be the second most listened to episode since Johnny Cash from Folsom Prison.
Absolutely.
I mean, real close second. I mean, it would be historical.
Well, we'd have to add music to it, too.
Of course.
We do have
Of course.
band programs and chorus, so we could knock it out.
We got to do it.
Johnny Cash, watch out. We're
I
coming
see
for the
a
record.
show
That's
in the future.
right.
That would be amazing.
I don't know. Maybe too pretty for the prison.
And it'd be like Huntsville Center, blues or whatever. I mean, we could do this.
It's amazing
But we turn it into a
you
success
kicked off your story, and then to lead with that story, and then to think about the footprint of your college, and how I'm always intrigued by how God places us in certain positions in our lives and through the experience of our lives to position us for what He's going to do and His plan for us. And so when I see what you're doing, it's almost like as if it was crafted for you.
It's a sacred vocation.
Yeah,
This was God's plan for me, and
Love it.
I followed it.
So that was part of your draw to the college. Now talk to us about where you're headed. Let's talk about shift as far as vision for the college.
Well, I'm going to shift.
Okay, perfect.
And instead of just talking about some regular things about the college, I want to talk about who we serve so that you understand who we are as a college.
Fantastic.
So we are located in our service area, and but let me tell you again that, which is very broad. It's 300,000 citizens, but our taxing district is 90,000. What's most important to me is to describe who our students are. 80% of our students are part-time, which means only 20% are full-time, which tells you that our students have very complex lives that they live. This means they juggle having dependent children, they work full-time, they have families to care for, and imagine trying to go to school while also juggling all those different things. But let me tell you a little bit more that describes who we serve. 73% of our students identify as having at least one unmet basic need. So that tells you that the majority of our students struggle with housing, with food, with childcare, with paying for utility bills, and coming up with emergency funds. So if you ask our students, could they come up with even $400 to address emergencies? They can't. Wow. They just simply can't. So, or making a car repair, all of those things are just very difficult for them. So personally, it is devastating to me to think that any one of our students would have to choose between a car repair or paying a utility bill or buying books. Yeah. That's just simply unacceptable to me. So this is why we have that Student Resource and Advocacy Center, which is, again, one of the largest in the nation. And we provide assistance to remove all the barriers that we can. Now, obviously, the students play a huge role in leaning in and addressing what they have to address. And we talk about that, but they owe it to themselves, to their families. They owe it to our community, to our state, and to our nation, because we need to have a vibrant community with educated citizens who are going to contribute to our communities.
You were talking about that the ability to add those resources, and that there was some funding that had come with that. I'm just curious, is that something people can donate to, or is it something that people can be a part of? Because I've never heard of it, and so I'm just interested because I'm a little inspired, so I'm just thinking maybe other people would be inspired to listen to this and say, hey, maybe I could help some kid pay things.
They absolutely can. And you could contribute. Zeke, you could do it as well. But we have a foundation that really supports it. The fact that Mackenzie Scott gave us $5 million so that we could build out this building. We have recently a family in trust. They gave us our part of their estate, and they stipulated that 20% of it go to our basic needs center. And then 20% would go to facilities. And what we are looking at right now is honoring their name by building an emergency shelter that can be used for individuals who are in domestic violence situations or people who don't have housing. Whatever the situation is, we want to be able to provide that right away. So that's in the nascent phases, but we believe in caring for our students. They are the center of everything that we do. Just wanted to really quickly give you a couple more facts.
Please.
And that is that we graduated approximately 7% more students than the prior year. Our first-time in college enrollment for spring 2025 increased by 47%. Wow. It's a huge leap. So
is that mostly local, like the three high schools there, or all over the place?
We have over a dozen, independent school districts that we serve in our
Baytown schools still good feeders for the college.
Oh, absolutely. Goose Creek is our largest feeder, and
proud graduate, right? Sterling High School. Good.
I love it. So yes, we have the majority of our dual credit students there, and many students come to Lee College upon graduation. Yeah. So, but in short, when you look at the numbers that are increasing coming to the college, and also if you look at first generation students, it's a huge part of who we are serving. And then the increased numbers of those who are graduating with credentials, what we're able to say now is that we have more new students who are coming in and more students who are graduating. And, and I will say that, I'll just end there and I will put a period there and say, we're very pleased to be able to announce and to have said in the last few years that we have had 3 record enrollment fall semesters in the college's 88, 89, and now 90-year history. And we were able to just confirm that for spring enrollment that we have 2 record enrollments for spring in the last 89 and now 90-year history. So these are brand new things. We leaned into COVID. We were able to achieve these things despite everything that was going on. Sure. And our goal with COVID was to just simply ensure that students did not delay their educational goals because of what was going on around them. And we were able to do that.
That's fantastic. What?
Yeah, I'd be remiss. It's February. It's Career and Technical Education Month. So, any advice to those high schools and the students that are in the CTE program as far as going to Lee College, or how to better prepare themselves for that type of education at a community college level? Any advice for any students or parents that may be listening today? They're in that field.
Sure. So we have a couple of unique relationships with several of our school districts in which we partner and share a couple of employees, and they literally pay 50-50. And one of them is a shared college coordinator whose sole focus is to be in the high schools to talk with our students and our parents and others. We have career nights. We work with industry. We love to be able to take our students to career fairs, but their sole focus is not to necessarily matriculate students to go to college at Lee College, but to go anywhere. Right. We want them to go anywhere. We're here to help them. We also have shared dual credit counselors who, again, are there to support our dual credit students to get them into college. And we're very proud of that. You may or may not be familiar with House Bill 8, which is a brand new funding model for community colleges. And I won't go into it other than to say one of the most inspirational parts of that program is what we call the free financial aid swift transfer, which allows for students in high school who are on free and reduced lunch to go to college absolutely free of charge. No tuition, no fees, and no books. So what we have found in our first year of implementation, prior to this program, only 15% of economically disadvantaged students participated in dual credit. And when we look at Bruce Creek, our largest feeder, it is now 40% of economically disadvantaged students who are participating and in dual credit, which, by the way, surpasses the number of non-economically disadvantaged students who are in dual credit. Awesome. And we are extremely, extremely proud of that.
It should be. That's great. That's unbelievable. That's great.
So,
fantastic.
But part of that is us creating a value proposition to all of our students in saying, if you come to Lee College, you want to transfer, you want to earn a workforce degree and go immediately into the workforce and earn be in a career that you're passionate about that will provide family-sustaining wages, we are providing a value proposition in which we clearly outline, if you come to Lee College, this is what you can expect.
Sure.
And we are solely focused on not ourselves in these silos, because we can get caught up in our own silos, but in every action and every decision we make, we are focused on how that influences how the students experience the college. So I don't want to ever have if Zeke, you are a student and we're visiting, I don't want to ever come away and say, I wonder how that, how did that conversation go with us, with me? I want to focus on how did that students experience that particular conversation. Right. That's flipping the narrative.
Right. Well, I'll tell you that 40% data point you just brought up it goes back to a point you made earlier about lifting up the community, because that's what it's doing, right? These are Baytown students coming to your college, taking dual credit to get into a career, to literally uplift their families and enrich themselves in a different way that their parents and grandparents probably couldn't have.
It's breaking generational poverty. Absolutely. It's breaking addiction.
Absolutely.
It is, ensuring that we're creating educated citizens who are adding value by advocating for our communities, voting. they're contributing in so many different ways that I couldn't possibly have the time to go through it. Can I go back to House Bill 8 for a second? Because I'm very proud of this.
Yeah, I think
So
hear it. Absolutely.
now 95% of our state funding is based upon performance by our students, 4 measures. And our first iteration of this funding, Lee College's state funding went up by 91%. And if you take away the colleges that needed special funding because their tax bases were low, we were at the very top of the state. And if the legislature fully funds, and I certainly do ask, work with our legislators, we do this together, encourage them. They unanimously pass that legislation, but every legislative session we have to go back to them, and we have not a lot of new legislators. So for the ones that were there before, we're kind of building muscle memory for them, but the new ones, we're educating and asking for their support. Right. So, and Governor Abbott already posted his priorities for the legislative session with regard to the budget, and he is fully supporting this legislation, which I was so pleased to hear from the governor. And if we are fully funded, because we're asking for additional money than what we got before, because the model is working, our performance is increasing. So we should all expect that we would ask for more funding. So what that's doing, though, is when we predict what's happening before the model was implemented, and if the legislature is going to fully fund things, our own funding is predicted to increase by 122%. It is the most historic legislative bill that has had the most impact on my almost 20-year career, because it is directly impacting our students and allowing us to fund measures that are based upon student success. And it really is the most transformative legislation that I've ever seen. And I think most of my colleagues would agree.
Yeah, well, you said you're putting more taxpayers out there anyway. So, hey, it's an ROI.
It's an ROI.
Taxpayers.
Yeah.
Well, in shameless plug for the organization, but also the show, but really the relevance behind what we do every day is, so many business owners, so many stakeholders, so many individuals that live in this region, they're running, we're day to day doing their jobs, but getting plugged in and understanding the power of the legislation that needs to take place in your state, getting plugged into your community, being a part of that has a direct impact on the society around you. Sometimes we lose sight of that. That's why I'm always amazed when voter turnout is so low, because I'm like, how can we not? But a lot of that is lack of education, not understanding its impact. So, you're sharing that testimony is so powerful for our audience, our listeners, so that we can have more people take action when that time comes around. Because, organizations like Economic Alliance, they give you the opportunity to go out to Austin and spend a couple of days there with our legislators.
Yep.
And it's not just what the news is showing you from politicians, but there are people who are putting in their lives work, especially our state reps, individuals that have a day job, but then they go up there and they sacrifice their lives so that they can put things in place that are going to help these kids, help them become taxpayers, and then support phenomenal colleges like yourself and people such as yourself. So I think it's just important to
absolutely
add that emphasis, the why behind our what, and that's really why we do what we do. And so, such a great way for us to kind of position ourselves to exit the show. And I think that before we get off, because you are such an inspiration and just sharing so much of your story to begin with, but walk us through really kind of, I guess, if you were going to leave a note for those that are listening to this, as far as part of your journey, maybe accolades or things that you've gotten to, what you're proud of being where you're at today, and maybe just one final, this is what I would leave for that maybe that student, maybe that young lady who's sitting there, that is potential Lee College student that's wondering, maybe someone needs to put this in their hands and say, young lady, you should listen to this because of what this woman has been able to achieve. I'll want my daughter to hang out with you. We're going to lunch.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so
Let's do it. The bill's on you, though, right? You're going to take me out to lunch.
Well, I was going to use taxpayer dollars because that's, I'm working on becoming a politician. I'm just kidding. Joking. I know it's bad taste.
What I would leave, though, is more than a call. Is more than a student. It's a call to action for all of us. So 50% of our high school graduates, on average, this is across the country, go nowhere. They're not going to college. And we that's unacceptable. And then we have an even larger group of citizens in our areas that have some college but no degree. We don't own just the students who are in our college. We own all of those students, all of those individuals, and we must embrace them as a group of individuals and organizations that are here to provide a talented, skilled workforce that will improve our local economy, our state economy, and our national economy. I'm only here because I had wonderful mentors, but education truly saved my life. And it is the pipeline for ensuring that we will have that vibrant community and we will have more taxpayers and less tax recipients. And so that's what I would share. And it is the struggles, all those things that I shared with you. I look back in the rearview mirror. I don't sit around and go, woe is me. I say, these are the things that were presented to me for, not to hurt me, but to make me the person that I am today and encourage others. So that's the platform that I carry with me, and I carry my students' voices with me all the time.
I love it. Well, you can tell it, like I said, God made you for it. So it doesn't, so absolutely. Well, we really appreciate your time today. Such an inspirational show. One that I think people can listen to. And if you're not inspired to figure out how to get plugged in and engage with Lee College and the work that they're doing, and you're here regionally, especially in the city of Baytown, I would encourage you to take some action and figure out how you can get plugged in with you guys. So, Zeke, any final thoughts?
I'm good, man. Thank you very much.
No, my pleasure. I've
been an honor.
Always happy
We'll have
to
you
talk
back.
about the great things at Lee College and our community, and how we can work together to really empower others to do more to improve the quality of their lives. Can I leave with this one thing?
Please,
so that
yeah.
people really understand this, and I beat this drum all the time. Students do not come to our colleges to earn degrees or to transfer. They come to improve the quality of their lives by obtaining careers that they, again, are passionate about and that will provide family-sustaining wages. And the work that we do together with the Economic Alliance is providing exactly that.
I love that.
And so we're so grateful for the partnership that we have.
I was listening to a podcast on the way up here, and the person on the show was talking about the significant impact that confidence has on someone's life. And most of these kids, it sounds like, grow up in a situation where what they lack is the confidence that they actually have value, then go out and do amazing things. And you're in the confidence business, right? You're giving these kids, thousands of kids, the opportunity to have confidence in themselves and create change. So that's beautiful.
Thank you.
So to our audience, I just want to empower you to have the confidence to share this show with somebody who needs to hear it. There's somebody out there right now who could use the inspiration that Lynda provided today. Again, our mission is to make sure we make the voices known of both our stakeholders, the individual, the community, everything that's plugged into this environment here at the Economic Alliance, so that you can know that you're part of something that's more than just getting up and driving down 225 or I-10 or wherever it is that you're heading to go to work. You're actually part of a community that's actually making a difference, all the way down to the student level, all the way down up to our people like our sponsor Chevron. There's a great way for you to make a huge impact. And so please share the message. If you want to give us recommendations or feedback, you can reach out to myself or Zeke. Find us on LinkedIn. That's the best place to reach out to us. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next week.